Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester LTIDtv
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reach the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City!
LTIDtv, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
Well, all right, my ducks, how are we doing? And I've done it again. I need to take that off. I'm still in a bit of shock, to be honest with you. We won a game again. Come here. There's more. Come here. I mean, don't want to get too excited, but are Leicester back?
Yes! 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 Oh, God. Oh, I'll have what she's having.
Not fellas, how often do we hear that? Not enough, probably. Leicester City 2, Brentford 1. Thank you if you're watching for this on YouTube. Please give that little button, the subscribe button, a press. And if you're listening to us on podcast, thank you so much on all major podcast platforms, even some we don't know about. This was the game, and let's bring my guest in straight after this, and we're welcoming back Joe. I have a feeling our female viewership is going to jump through the roof today. Welcome back, Josh.
Don't know about that, mate, with these looks. How are you, Chris? You're right, bud.
Yeah, getting through. Always better after a win. I mean,
definitely.
Dare I say, are we back? I mean, we've had false dawns before, but we're beating teams, and all right, maybe like you said, Burnley, Leeds, Brentford, the teams we should be beating, but we weren't doing that earlier in the season.
That's right. I think you could go back to, like I say, the Leeds game where I felt we were quite lucky to win. I thought Leeds played really well that day, and we sort of robbed it off them really. But I think over the last 3 or 4 weeks, the performances are slowly starting to get back to what we not expect. Cause it makes you sound a bit selfish, really. But what we've sort of come to see of Leicester over the last 2 or 3 seasons, really. So more than anything, it's just so you can see the performances are there. Defensively we're looking a lot better. Attacking wise, I don't really think attacking wise we've struggled as much this season. We've always sort of seemed to create at least a few good chances every game. So
yeah,
I'm not going to say Leicester are back, but I think we're not far off from what performances like that every week to push ourselves up the league a lot more.
Yeah, and let's face it. I mean, we know Fofana came back and then scored a goal. Castagna comes back and just scored a goal. What was Johnny Evans doing when he came on?
Well, he could have done really well. Madison had that free kick, and then I think I can't remember if Nacho just took it off him, but I think Evans might have been offside anyway. But it wasn't a surprise me, to be honest with you. The way, like you say, the injured players are coming back and scoring some decent goals. Let's say, obviously, I think decent for Castaños today was a bit of an understatement, to be honest with you. But good to see Johnny Evans back in, like you say, Castaños to come back and score that goal like he did today.
It's like
absolutely out of this.
It's like getting used. I know it's very, everybody says it, and it's an often used metaphor, but it is like having a new signing coming out, isn't it?
Definitely, mate. Yeah. Going back to Fofana being back as well. Obviously, I know he didn't play today, but I'm stirred because it's one of them where you look at the starting lineup and you don't see him on the bench, and I thought, God, I hope he ain't picked up another injury. But I think from what people have told me and from what I've read, it's just a case of leaving him out and just letting him rest, which was a really good call today. Fofana's one of them players where I knew he'd come back and make a difference, but the way he came back the other night was.
Yeah,
you just cannot knock him, and that's him not 100% fit as well. So imagine what he's going to be like, when he's fully back to his best. So,
I know.
But yeah, it's just hopefully Brendan's going to sort of manage the injured players coming back like he did with Castaños today. Taking him off, leaving players on the bench like Ricardo. We know that he's been ill for the last week or so. So it's just keeping them fit now and hopefully not picking any more injuries up, because like you say, on the form we're on and confidence is up, you want to keep your squad fresh and fit, and hopefully they could see out the remaining games.
I mean, I've been very critical of Brendan when he's made sort of substitutions that just don't make sense, and we know he's got that in him. But on the last couple of days, all credit to him. He has made the right substitutions at the right time. Even bringing Vestergaard in midweek, it was the right decision to give Fofana the break. I just want to say, if you're not doing anybody in a week's time, pop along to W.H. Smith at Foss Park, Leicester, and you will see ex-chief executive there, Barry Pierpoint, and his book. And we've had him on the panel before, Minding My Own Football Business. It's a great read, and if you haven't got it and you remember the time, or if you haven't got it and you want to know a bit about Leicester's history, it's a great book to have. And ex-player Julian Joachim there, his book is out as well. You Must Be Joachim. Yes, see what he did there. Both of them signing and posing for pictures and everything at W.H. Smith, Foss Park, between 11 and 1 next Saturday. So if you want to get those hands on a couple of good books, and there's the place to be, and they'll sign them for you. What did you think of the team when it was announced, Josh? We'll bring that up now. I mean, I was surprised not to see Fofana. My heart sank because I'm thinking, did he pick up another, another injury and what have you? But it makes sense now when you look at it. But I looked at that and I was very pleased with that starting lineup.
I was, definitely. It's sort of, when you look at it again, you look at the back four now, and as much as Amarty's sort of filling in at centre back, he's been probably our centre back of the season for me.
Yeah.
So I looked at the back four and I thought, you know what, it's probably one of the first few times this season where I've looked at it and thought, God, I'm really content with that. Justin's come back and he's back to the form he was before he got his long-term injury, and obviously seeing Castaño back, I was surprised to see him start, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was sort of 100% certain that Thomas would get the nod, but again, Castaño come back, as we'll go on to his goal later, I'm sure. But yeah, then the midfield. I'm pleased to see Mendy start. I'll talk about him again later on in the show. I thought he was absolutely superb today. And then, like you say, the front sort of three of Maddison, Barnes and Nacho. Again, Nacho for me played amazing today as well. I thought he'd done really well. So overall, mate, I thought the starting lineup from, what we've got available and the players that are coming into form, I couldn't knock it at all. I would say more than fairly confident that we could get at least a point today. So to get all three, it stands to justice, really. So really pleased with it, mate.
I mean, you look at that and people are saying, oh, you're missing Vardy or whatever, but we don't rely on Vardy for goals. I mean, Lookman when he's fit and Barnes, chips in as well. So we're not short of goal scorers. But like you say, I want to touch on it in Acho because he started today over Daka. He is a different player to Daka and Vardy because they both like to obviously, run at the defence, where Inacho is very much he holds on to the ball and he brings other players in. I think Daka and Vardy tend to sort of, that's the focus of our attack. But I mean, today he had a move and it was like he danced through the defence, and I think he beat about 3 or 4 players before he was stopped. I do like what Inacho is bringing to the team at the moment.
Definitely, mate. And you touch on it superbly there. I think his hold-up plays. It's for the sort of player he is. His hold-up play is phenomenal, really, and the way he holds off defenders, and as you say, brings in a lot of players around him. He's sort of getting the reputation that we know of as well. Like, you can play the ball forward to him. Chest high, he's going to bring it down, hold the ball up, and then your wingers sort of come into play. Then Maddison drops in, and today I thought it was absolutely superb. I'd say it's one of the he missed the Gilted's chance when he tried to be a bit too clever and he tried the little think of the goalkeeper, but I'll forgive him that because I thought today for me it will probably I know he scored hat-tricks for us before, and his goal scoring from last season was superb, but for me I say overall gameplay today, I'd say one of his best performances for us. I thought he was absolutely superb.
I mean, I think it's unlucky, and big up, Mike. Thanks for joining us again. I mean, you look at him and you think he's a striker, so you're going to have to sort of look at how many goals he scored. And I think it was very unfortunate because he ended last season on such a high. He was our top goal scorer last season, then hasn't been able to get into the team. And I think the problem quite often with him is when he's brought on during the game, the changes aren't made to accommodate that. But when he starts, they're sort of ready. But I want to bring Mendy up as well. And you mentioned Mendy before. And last season, indeed, he was injured a lot at the start of the season for 1920. And Mendy stepped in and he did very, very well. It then looked like he would believe in us, but nobody, it all fell, something fell through. I like Mendy as a player. I think he did nothing wrong today. He had an excellent game. In a way, where Wilf seems to be able to sort of stop the balls going through, Mendy's a good, distributor. He gets moves going for me. I'm worried we're going to lose him, but then he seems to have jumped over Chowdhury because Chowdhury had sort of come in, and obviously we want to keep as many players as good players as we can. But I really do rate Mendy.
I do, and I think, starting against Arsenal last week, nobody really had a brilliant game last week, did they? No. So, you sort of forget about that. And for me, the Arsenal game were a bit of a free hit, to be honest. They're in amazing form, and it was just one of them games where we
never win at their place.
That's it, mate. So, when I seen him starting today, I thought, you know what, I'm with you, Chris. I think it's sad because I could see him leaving at the end of the season, but I really don't want him to because, one, I don't think he's ever really let us down when he's played. He always does a good job. He does the little. It's a really selfless role, really, because like today, we were getting stuck in breaking up their midfield play. Always an out ball for us. Whether the defenders just need to quickly get rid of it, and then he very rarely sort of played backwards today. Only when he had to, really. We were always sort of trying to turn and look for a forward pass. So I think another reason why I want him to stay and why I like him so much as well is, he's clearly not had as much football. He's not really had as much game time, you should say, than what he deserves, really. I know, when indeed he's on it, you can't drop Wolf indeed, and it's unfortunate they both sort of play. Well, both do play as a CDM, so. But he's never really come out, and we don't know what's said behind closed doors, but he's never really come out and said, I'm unhappy at the game time. game time I'm getting, I should be getting more. And he probably is behind closed doors, but it's never come out. And whenever he is called upon, he always does a solid job for us. And again, today I thought he, just quietly went about his business, and I thought again he had a superb game today. He really did.
No, he did. I totally agree with you. And the problem is when you're looking at that midfield, I mean, we don't know if Telemans is going to stay or not now. He might be looking at the likes of Fofana and Ricardo and James signing new contracts, and he may be waiting to see sort of what we do in the summer transfer before he decides. But I don't know. But that midfield's getting quite, full there. It's not one of the positions we need to worry about. And obviously, Welsh players go and are quite happy to sit on the bench at Manchester City. They might not be as happy to do it as at Leicester City. But I want to give a shout out, and I've got to be honest with you, I never ever thought I would say this, but for the most improved player this season, and I don't think there's anything going to change my mind between, the last few games, but for me, Daniel Amati, big up, again, he didn't get the best game time and he wasn't complaining. He's been played out of position, but from when the Community Shield, and like I said this many times, walking up Wembley Way, hearing the team being announced and hearing all the Leicester fans go, oh, when they said Amati, to now, he's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet. He is brilliant. He's almost like, you immediately think, well, it's going to be Fofana and Soyuncu when everybody's fit, or possibly Evans. But I don't think you can really, I can't see a reason for dropping him.
I can't, not one bit. I think it sort of became sort of a bit of a running joke sort of last season when, we were seeing Amati starting centre-back and we thought, well, he does a job for us. But then again, this season, he's come in and he's been, like you say, he's been absolutely superb. I think, for his international team, he starts centre-back for them. So I think it's sort of one of them things where you should never doubt him, really, because it's like you say, when you look at the centre backs, we've got, Amati's. Had he not started as many games this season at centre back, when he comes in, you don't really put him in with the likes, you like say Fofana, Evans, Soyuncu, but from what he's done this season, and he seems to be sort of leading that back line a bit more as well. I tend to notice, especially in the last 2 or 3 games, he's sort of. You can see him communicating with Soyuncu a lot more, and whether it might, it might be a case of Soyuncu's been superb as well for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think his performances have really shot up as well. So whether it's sort of, Amati sort of leading in and guiding him through games, and they've sort of roles reversed rather than, the back line's being led by Kagler, or whether it's on Amati now, and that's why, we're starting to see a bit more of a upturn of decent-ish defensive performances. But yeah, again, mate, I think, sadly, like you say, when Fofana's, fully fit and, we've got Johnny Evans back now, and for me, I wouldn't drop. It's hard to say, really, because like I say, last 2 or 3 games, I think we've been really good.
It's a great position to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Before it's in the case of like who's fit to get your boots on, you're playing. Where now we're in a position of, God, who do we pick?
Exactly, and you sort of somebody's going to be disappointed, aren't they? But I mean, if he is to get dropped, when Fofana and Evans are both fully fit and back raring, then it's going to be a shame, because he's been and he's becoming like a bit of a cult hero for us, isn't he, as well? So,
well, hopefully next season, and it's not out, it is a big if, but it's not out the impossible that we get into Europe via the winning the conference. We're going to be fighting on 4 fronts again, and it is almost like we've never had a strong bench. When we've played, not played the main team, in these FA Cup games, you've looked at it and you thought, whoa, but our bench is suddenly looking very strong. A lot stronger, and it's all just happening at the right time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all coming together when, like you say, business end of the season. I think, league-wise, I think it's just a case of finishing as high as we can, really. I know we've got games in hand, but, you want to finish off strong, whereas the last couple of seasons, we've not really had that. We've sort of had injuries come at the worst times for us. But now, as you say, we're starting to get, a the first team players back. I think, you know, lads that have stepped in, and like I say, Marty being a prime example, he's been absolutely superb for us. So it's all. I'll say it quietly. It's all sort of coming, as you say, it's coming together. It seems the right time.
Yes, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. You know,
hopefully.
And don't go shouting. I mean, you know, I've done a few shows recently, and it's been a disappointing season. But clubs have these seasons every now and again. But I actually did a chat with Mike McCarthy, who does radio shows for Radio Leicester, BBC Radio Sheffield, and Talk Sport. And we were both saying about the injuries, and I don't want to use it as an excuse, but we had 22 players injured at some point this season. And at one, 9 of those were defensive players. And if Brendan gets us top 10 and maybe to the semis or even final of the Europa League, it hasn't been a bad season.
I don't think so either, mate. I agree with you. I think if, like you say, if we can sort of, push into top 10, and there's no reason why, we really shouldn't be in there. As you say, performances are picking up and results are coming at the right time for us as well. So I think, as you say, if we can finish in the, between 8th to 10th, and we give this, Conference League a real good crack, then compared to obviously the last couple of seasons, you think to yourself, well, yeah, it's a bit of a downturn in results, really. But having said that, I think we sort of seem to forget a lot of the time. We are still Leicester, aren't we? So I think, I think
you don't want to end up sounding like, dare I say, Arsenal or Man United fans. I'm not naive enough to think we're in that bracket yet. But I think if we could have a decent finish in the Premier League and hopefully continue with the with the Conference League run, then it's been a decent season, I'll say. It has. I mean, we'll have a quick chat about the conference later. Paul, good evening, welcome along. Have you been in before? Not if I haven't seen you, but nice of you to join us. Thank you very much. Good point. The pace of the Premiership is faster, and Fofana and Evans are our 2 best centre backs. Play Soyuncu and Amati at Old Trafford, and Fofana and Evans against PSV. I mean, that sums it up. That's what we're now back to. And you'd say either of those, you would have loved to have either of those pairings early on in the season, but now we can move it around.
Even not just centre backs, obviously at full backs, you got Ricardo, you've still got Bertrand to come back. He hasn't had the greatest season for us, has he, to be honest? But he can come back and obviously fill in at left back. So like I say, Ricardo, Bertrand, Thomas, Justin, Castagna. We've got a lot of options, and like I say, hopefully they're all coming back at the right time for us, and fingers crossed they can all stay fit, because they're going to be needed, especially if we get deep into this Conference League. Then every position's going to need to everybody's going to need to step in.
I mean, I quote this virtually every show, but it is so true. Clinton Morrison, I think it was, commentating on one of the radio stations. He said, "Whatever you do, don't judge Brendan Rodgers now. Judge Brendan Rodgers when he's got a full squad." And we know what he can do when he's got a full squad. He can get us to 5th FA Cup win and what I like to call the English Super Cup win. And I wanted to bring this up because I saw this earlier, and it was on Sky, and it says Leicester jump above Southampton and into the top half of the Premier League after a 3rd win from 4. All of a sudden, with games in hand over Villa and Wolves ahead of them, you wonder if a top 8 finish is still on the cards. I mean, dare I be thinking about that? I mean, I was looking at the table after the match, and it's such strange this season, because you can't kind of go on the table because nobody's played the same number of games, but we do look in a very strong position there.
Definitely. I mean, excuse me, I've always been one to sort of say I'd rather have the points on the board than games in hand. So to be in this position, it's strange, really. I can't see why should the performances not drop off and they carry on as the way they are, and we pick up results and we consistently pick up points, then I don't see why not, mate. I really don't. Like I say, as you see there, 3 games in hand on Wolves, win all them, and we're only a point behind them, and we climb above Villa, we're level on points with them with 2 games in hand. So as I say, I'll repeat it myself, but I'm one of them where I'd rather have the points on the board than games in hand. But in the position we're in, and the season we've had, you take it really, and you sort of hope that, as you say, results carry on the way they are, and we can,
you
climb
look
the
at
table
those,
as much as we can.
Yeah, you look at those teams around us. I mean, Newcastle up until them at Everton were on a bit of a run, but Brighton, Palace, Southampton below us, and Villa, Wolves, and Tottenham above us. None of them are. You can't say they're going to win every week because you don't know.
That's right,
They're very well, as we all say about Leicester. They've been consistently inconsistent. Now, if we had get our runs together now and start winning these games, then yes, it's all just coming at the right time for us. But fingers crossed, like you say, this is Leicester. We don't want to sort of jump too far ahead for us. I've got to say, I thought, looking at the match, we played really well. I say good starting lineup. I was concerned on that left because, I think Thomas, Dewsbury Hall, and Barnes, they just click together so well when they play. But it was great to see Castagna back, and my God, what a goal.
Unbelievable. Absolutely. I mean, as soon as when the sort of space opened up for him, I would 100% certain, you could hear some of the crowd saying shoot, and sort of the angle was sort of going for him, and I thought, no, he ain't going to shoot. We're going to sort of not overplay as such, but I thought, I can't remember who. I think he had a square pass on at the time, but when he hit it, as soon as it left his foot, and you could see it heading towards the top corner, and you just knew it was going in. And as you can see from his celebration afterwards, he's got his head in his hands. He couldn't believe it himself. It was just absolutely no keeper in the world saving that. You've got 2 goalkeepers in goal, and they're not saving that. You cannot get any more you can't get any more postage stamp than that. It was an unbelievable goal. Absolutely unbelievable.
It was pinpoint accuracy. It very much reminded me of, I think it was his first game for us, or first home game? I'm not sure, but I think it was his first game, and he came on and scored an amazing goal. He has got that in his locker, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think with Castagna as well, I'm glad to have him back because I'm not going to say he's an amazing player for us, but I put him in sort of in the same bracket as what Danny Simpson was for us. I really rated Danny Simpson because he was consistent every week. You never really got amazing games from him, but he very, very rarely let you down. And he's one of them players for us. He never lets us down. He gives it his all, and to see him score a goal like that on his return as well, and the way he hit it was absolutely. I mean, to be there live and to actually, if you were able to watch it in the ground, then it'd have been some experience. I was just watching it on telly. So, but absolutely fantastic. Really, it's one of them where. I think we've seen 3 cracking goals today, but that's got to be up there for when you see it on Match of the Day at the end of the season as one of the contenders for goals of the season.
Talking of cracking goals, I mean, I was doing a watch along. I was doing it with Dan, who everybody knows is a Burnley fan that joins me on here regularly. And he was slightly ahead of me because, I mean, we've got Jeff, and I've seen Jeff in the chat. Welcome back, Jeff. Thanks so much for coming back. How's the old whiskey going down? He's in the Philippines and he's ahead of us. It's totally weird, but I can see Dan was going like, well, there's a free kick, and this is like a perfect angle for Maddison. And then he went quiet and didn't say anything because I was a minute or so behind him. And again, that is what Maddison can do, isn't it? This is again, have we got Maddison back? Somebody said, should he be in the England squad? And I think it's a bit too early for him yet. I don't think he's proved enough over the players that were picked, but he's got that in his locker, hasn't he?
Definitely. And I think Maddison's he's a prime example of what a confidence player can bring, when sort of his confidence is down, we've seen that we've seen it last season where he weren't really on top of his game for quite the same majority of the season, really. And but an informed, confident James Maddison scores your goals like that. Sort of when he was setting himself up for the free kick, I thought, because Maddison's for the last 2 or 3 months, really, I think his form's been outstanding for us. And as you say, he's sort of coming back into the Maddison of old that we know and we know he can perform at. And I thought he'd get it on target. I wasn't sure whether the keeper would save it, but the way he's playing at the minute and the form he's in and the confidence he's got, I thought, he's going to get this on target. It's either going to be, a cracking save or, whether he did a post or whatever. But as soon as it went in, it really didn't surprise me because, as you say, he's sort of getting back into that form now where I agree with you. I don't think he's sort of at the England squad level just yet, but I think another 5 or 6 games of these sort of performances, then he's got to be in contention surely because he's been absolutely superb.
As Scott said, keep our players out of the England squad, and they won't get. Luca, good afternoon. Thank you for joining. Leicester, good win for you. We're coming for you, Arsenal. We're coming for you. I jest. Okay. Just going back up here, Mike made the point. You've 2-0 when you score. Are you worried about these late goals you conceded against teams? Happens against Rennes and today. Happened against West Ham. Happened against Tottenham. Mike, we can say 4 or 5 reasons, games minimum that it's happened against, but that's Leicester this season, isn't it, Josh?
It is, and again, when they scored, you sort of think, "Oh God, here we go." And the last 5 or 10 minutes of the game was just awful. They're awful to watch, and you constantly, as you always say, Chris, it's squeaky bum time, and it really is. I mean, it didn't help. My stream kept cutting out, and I'm thinking, "Oh God!" And then coming back up, and I'm sort of half expecting Brentford to have equalised, but it's never easy, is it? It's never easy. I mean, to be honest with you, their goal, I thought it was a cracking finish. I don't think, defensively, I thought, it's sort of a Marty's little mistake, in a way from, I'm not sure if he went to sort of pass it out and their players got there, but again, it's sort of, I can't really pin that on the defence, and it was that much of a good strike. Schmeichel had no chance. So
no,
it's just one of them where you sort of hold your hands up and say, that's a cracking strike. We've just got to, set back up as we are and see the game out.
And we have, like I say, we have had the defensive problems this season where, we haven't had regular, partnerships that people don't know who they're playing with week in, week out. We had the zonal, which obviously was a complete disaster. So any goals going in against us worry me. But we managed to get, I think it was 6-7 corners they had, and we didn't concede today. So that's good news. Jeff is on the coffee now to try and keep wake for the Forest game. His son is a Forest fan. What I said earlier, was he adopted, Jeff? No, I mean you did say you brought him up Bradley, and you obviously have done. I'm sorry if it's the first sign of my son saying he supported Forest, he'd be drowned in the river.
Although you know what, having said that, my brother-in-law's a big Forest fan. So I'd like to see him do it today. I really would. I think it'd be. Obviously, he'd be absolutely delighted. I shouldn't really say that as a Leicester fan, but I'd love to see him go through today. I really would. I think they're having a cracking season. Let's not lie. And for them to get to the semi-finals and to be, like I said, to beat Arsenal, they smashed us. I hate to say it, but
they did. They did
today. Then fair play to them. I'll be rooting for them today.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with you. I'm just trying to bring up here, and it won't do it. Oh, Tottenham are beating West Ham at half time.
I've got it on in the background here. I think West Ham scored they pulled one back just before half time, about 5 minutes before half time. So, be an exciting second half that should be now.
Yeah, I mean, if we bring up and we'll have a look at the stats, and I can get away with it with yourself. I know Brad hates stats, but but just looking at them here, I mean, possession, doesn't really mean an awful lot. Shots, I mean, at one point we were well ahead of them on shots, but that second half. And what I'm pleased to see against Rennes, I mean, we threw our bodies on the line against Rennes, and against Brentford, Dan, who today was doing the show with me, he said Brentford very much like scoring in the last 5 minutes, as they proved today. But we managed to hold on. You know, a Leicester of a few months ago would have probably capitulated on that. And, you know, we had 4 shots on target. They had 6. But I say a lot of theirs did come later in the game when they came back into it. And we were having to play rearguard action, but we did it well.
Definitely, and you know, it'd be nice to sort of come out second half and carry on sort of the way we were playing first half. But I think going into half time, because it was so plain to see that we were dominating that midfield battle. A lot of our play were going to, you know, through the middle of the park, and so you sort of knew they were going to change things up at half time. And you know, 2-0 up at home, you sort of you're expecting them to come out of the block second half because they've got to do something. You know, they can't just sit back and sort of wait for us to come on to them. They've got to come at us. So, like you say, mate, I think for us to, you know, sort of defend the way we did and be as resolute as we were, it speaks volumes, really, because, as you say, you know, 2 or 3 months ago, that weren't happening. You know, you sort of 2-0 up and you think, God, you know, I don't really hold much confidence of us holding out this game, really. You're sort of thinking, we do well to get a point even when we're 2-0 up. But it just, again, it speaks volumes of sort of how, you know, confident the players are at the minute and the form that we're on, that we're able to see, you know, a game out today like we were.
And corners, they had 5 corners and we didn't concede. I mean, that's always a bonus, isn't it?
It is, and it will get to the point this season where I'd rather give teams a penalty than a corner, because every corner you think, and you know what don't help either as well, you know, the pundits and the commentators, Leicester are so susceptible at corners, and sort of think, oh my God, like we know, but you're sort of tempting fate here, really. And when, you know, God willing, the opponents score from a corner and they're like, yeah, well, we told you, and you just thought, God, Jesus.
In fairness, Arsenal did against us the first goal, and they, you know, they were saying that they were actually practicing that and targeting that as our weakness, and you can't, you know, you can't blame them. But we know we held on. It's 3 points. And like I said, let's just bring the table up again. I mean, where can you see us finishing this season?
Like we were saying earlier, it is a strange one because we have got games in hand, obviously, because of cancellations due to COVID, especially like say just before Christmas, we had 2 or 3 games called off. That noise in the background is my washing machine as well, by the way.
I can't hear it. I can't hear it. You're all right.
I'm sat in the kitchen. I've got washing machine noise going on.
The wife's not sat on it. I don't mind. She's going to kill me, isn't she? She's not watching this. She won't know. Nobody will tell her.
She's not. That was a good one, though. Back to your question. I think eighth is definitely on the cards, purely because we have got the games in hand. But I think I don't see no reason why, you know, should a form continue like it is, you know, you've got to sort of hope, you know, Villa are going to say drop points and they're not going to pick up any wins. But I can't see why we'd finish any lower than 10th, really. Knock on wood, you know. I shouldn't really tempt fate there, but I think, as you said earlier, you know, we're sort of hitting form at the right time of the season, really. So I think anywhere between 8th and 10th, really. I think it's realistic.
To be honest with you, Tottenham. It depends which Tottenham are going to turn up. You don't, you know, they're not guaranteed to win. And Man United, who, funnily enough, we play next. I mean, their form is more up and down than ours. You know, they brought. Sorry, Mike, if you're still watching, but it is. You know, you had a bit of a breakdown the other night with Europe. I mean, it's just not happening for Man United at the moment. They're probably not going to get fourth, but you know, we've beaten them once this season, and it's nice to go into the international break on a win, isn't it?
Always. I'm sort of, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to say that. It is always. I've said this to my friends, like all my footballing friends, so many times. It's always vital to go into the international break with a win because it's always good to, you know, for the players to have a rest. But it's got to, I think, because it always seems to be that much football we're playing over the last few weeks. You know, with European games and stuff. I'm sort of. It's one of them where, you know, you want the next game to come because the form's up and the performances we're doing really well, but I'll be glad to have a week off, to be honest with you, because the stress and anxiety is, you know, it's absolutely incredible. But you know, going into that Man United game, we'll go into that as underdogs, and sort of rightly so. You know, on paper that they've got a better team than majority of their players are better than ours. I'm not naive to think otherwise, really. But so again, it's sort of, I'll go into that in sort of the way I went into the Arsenal game. It's a bit of a free hit. If we can get, you know, a point at Old Trafford, it's always going to be hard. But yeah, it's a bit of a free hit for me, that game, especially, like you say, I think, which makes it even more vital that we won today, as you say, going into the international break and then ahead of the Man United game. It sort of makes it a bit more sweeter, today's victory, definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant. We're going to have a look at man of the match, etc. We'll do that straight after this. Yeah, please give us a subscribe if you are on YouTube, and if you're not, go over onto YouTube, LTIDtv, and give us a subscribe. Now, it would be remiss of me not to do this. I know you've obviously been busy recently, and you know you're in the middle of a house move, so good luck with that. But we do have a new part, and I tend to include this on every show.
Okay.
Well, let me show you.
It's time for the Daily Spurs.
It is how long since Spurs last won a trophy, and it would be remiss of me not to include it, I say, in every show, because it is going up. You know, it's now 14 years, 20 days, no months, 13 minutes, and 10 seconds since Spurs last won a trophy. But hey, hang in there, Spurs. You never know. 1 year it will be your year. I think we may freeze over before that happens, but you never know.
I thoroughly enjoyed the build up to that as well, with the curtains and everything. That was really cool.
It is, isn't it? It's like I was laughing to myself when I was putting that together. But usually we have an Arsenal fan in who absolutely loves it. He reminds me to play it. In fairness, if we go seventh or any, I'd love it. And yeah, Scott says hopefully another 14 years till they win another one. Well, at this rate, it will be. I'll probably be in my grave before that finishes. But as you know, we have Alan Bennett, who goes along to all the matches, and as soon as he comes out, gives us the immediate thought on man of the match and on player ratings. Now, this is what he's done for this one. I think he's pretty much got it on spec there. Man of the match, well, I think just for keeping us in it, he went for Casper. Gave the manager 7. Didn't think he did much wrong today, Brendan. He got it spot on. The team 7. And I think because we let them back into it, I get that. Do you agree with that, or would you pick somebody else for man of the match?
You know what? I was sort of going to leave my little shout out to Casper towards the end of the show. So I'll say it now. Again, you know, the 2 saves he's pulled off when we were 2-0 up as well, to, you know, keep the score the same as what it was. Absolutely superb. But he's been sort of pulling off them sort of saves for the last 3 or 4 games now, where you're looking at him thinking, God, there's no way in the world he should have saved that, but he has. I can see why he's gave it to Casper. In hindsight, looking back, them two saves have technically what have won us the game, really. But my man of the match, I still give it to Iheanacho, purely because, as I said earlier, I can't go back on what I said. I think one of his best performances ever played for us. But I can see why he's gave it Casper, definitely.
Yeah, it's all about opinions, of course, and it is always interesting because he's at the match and he sees it completely differently to me watching it on telly or online. He sees what goes off, off the pitch. I usually, agree with him. I did have to override him for the Rennes result because I thought he was a bit low there, so I did have to whoop him. But yeah, I think he pretty much got this on spec. And just going here, just quickly to look at the BBC site, which is where the Leicester fans vote. Maddison as overall man of the match with 7.34. Tony was their best at 5.42. So Brentford fans not happy with the performance. Castagna 7.3, Barnes 7.1, Dewsbury Hall 7.09, Evans 6.96. We're struggling to get to either Iheanacho or Schmeichel here, aren't we?
Yeah, it's strange. I'm really surprised by how high they've rated Harvey Barnes there.
Yeah.
Personally,
and Evans, to be honest with you,
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't think Barnes had definitely didn't have one of his better games. So to see him sort of rated third best player for today, I didn't think he was really poor, but now I'm surprised to see him as high up as he is, because I really don't think he didn't have one of his best games for us today.
No, and I think a lot of players, when they look at that, a lot of fans, look at that and go, who scored the goals?
Yeah.
and yeah, I get that. Of course, that it's natural to do that. But I was surprised how low down, like you said, Iheanacho and Schmeichel were, just in the high sixes there.
Really
actually, Evans, I don't get that. It was nice to see him back on. I think he had solid things, but he didn't do anything outstanding, and he wasn't on that long, to be honest with you. Dewsbury Hall and Barnes, they didn't have bad games, but like you say, we've seen them have better. But hey, we're picking here, aren't we? We're totally picking here. We've won the game, for God's sake. Let's not be too critical. So we've got the international break, and then we've got Man United. That will be a real test of sort of how far we've come. It'd be, because I said, it'd be interesting to see which Man United turn up against us. Luca, good evening. Thank you very much, sir. Hope you are well. Rene, fingers crossed we can win, and he was impressed with Mendy as we were as well. But of course, we've got a little matter of this coming up. The Euro. I find it hard to call it the conference, and I think that is what does it for me. I mean, it's the Europa Conference, but you've got the Europa League. We'll call it the conference. You're not calling it Europa Champions League, are you? I just think it's a bad name for it. But I'd love to be the first winners of it. I thought we were throwing bodies on the line. And talking of Iheanacho, what a godsend his second goal was in the first leg.
Definitely, yeah. At the time, 1-0 up, I thought, God, this is still a bit of a dodgy scoreline. Because as you say, we've got to go over there and sort of hold out. And as you say, Nacho's goal, it's sort of, it speaks volumes for how important it was, because had we not got that, they score after 8 minutes in the return leg, it's back at 1-1, and you sort of thinking, God, here we go. It just goes to show that when the chips are down, he'll get you vital goals.
Yes.
I mean, looking at the draw there.
Who did you want, just out of interest? Who would you have? I was after Slavia Prague because I wanted revenge.
I think that they were the team that I'd have liked us to have drawn, to be honest, because as you say, the way they dumped us out last season. I think I'm probably going to murder this when I say, is it Bodo Glimt?
Yeah, that's as good as you're going to get. Yeah.
yeah. They, you know what? They were a team where I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind drawing them, but to get as far as they have done in this, and they destroyed Celtic really. So I don't think
they beat Roma 6-1. They're both in the same group. They're not to be taken lightly.
Having said that, it probably might have been a tougher game than, like I say, than PSV who withdrew. So.
You look at that draw there, and apart from Bodo Glimt, who are the Leicester of this competition, they've come from nowhere and they're up there in in the quarters now. But all the others, Roma, Feyenoord, Prague, Marseille, PAOK, PSV, all been in the Champions League not so long ago.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what, as well, I think, I know, it's first season for this competition, and it's one of them competitions where when I heard about it, I thought, oh God, here we go. It's going to sort of not kill European football. I thought at the time it's not going to make it as special to sort of at least sort of contend in these competitions. But I think, as you say, and it's interesting that you pointed on the teams that are still in there. I think this is a competition that maybe in the next 2 or 3 seasons, a lot of teams like maybe us are going to take it really, really serious. And there's no reason why we shouldn't now, because again, it's another passageway into the Europa League next season. But as you say, mate, you look at the teams left in there, and really, you could say they're still sort of European giants. Say, Roma, PSV, Feyenoord. They've played Champions League football. Marseille are a cracking team. So it's going to be exciting, mate. It really is.
It is totally, and this is why I don't like the big teams fans. I don't. First of all, I don't agree with if you're dropping out of one competition, you go into the one below it. And I know Leicester are in it, but I don't agree. I don't think we should be in it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
because we failed at Europe. Yeah, same with when Man United dropped out, but then got through to the final of the Europa League. That it shouldn't have been allowed. But hey, it is what it is. We have to go with it. Like I say, I think it's the name that puts a lot of people off. But I hate the fact of the Arsenal fans saying, "Well, we'd sooner finish 8th than finish in that league." And I kind of get it, because obviously they're doing well because they've not got Europe to worry about, and all the other teams around them have had Europe. But I just think, we're used to the Premier League. Well, you ain't in either this season, love. Get it right. Yeah. But I just think it's and then Spurs sort of disrespected it the way they did. It's a competition, and it's a European competition. And if exactly, we win that, I'm sure Spurs, when they go to go to dust their empty trophy cabinet out, I'm sure they'll be looking at thinking, well, we had a space for that one,
I think what it is as well, because I think if you finish, is it 7th? It's 7th, isn't it, in the Premier League? Then you obviously get into this competition. I think, with the likes of ourselves, obviously not this season, because Premier League-wise, it's been a bit hit and miss, as we touched on earlier. But I think, it's the likes of, your West Ham's, the way they're going, other sort of teams, if they can sort of break into the top 6 barrier, then the likes of ourselves, Tottenham, Arsenal, sort of the teams that are sort of hopefully pushing towards that top 4 might start looking at this competition and thinking, listen, if we could finish 7th, it's still European football at the end of the day. It's still trips away for, the fans, and you're still playing, as you can see from the draw there, and the teams that are left, you're still playing some really good competition. So I don't. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's sort of a competition where when we sort of got dropped into it again. I can't remember the Napoli game when I did. I think that was the last show I did with you, to be honest. At the time, again, I agree with you. I says, I don't really agree with dropping out of one competition and then going straight into, technically the knockouts of another.
Yeah.
But as you say, it is why it is. It's a chance for us. And I wasn't really keen on the idea of being in the competition at the time. But I think in hindsight now, you look at the teams that are left and you think, I think this is going to a lot more sort of historical bigger teams are going to look at this and think, let's give it a good crack, definitely.
Yes, I mean, if we win this and we turn and say, look, this was the competition that Roma were in, Marseille were in, PSV were in,
Definitely.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. Rene, if we win the final, we are in the Europa League next season as holders, as the winners of the Europa League go into the Champions League, which I know they're revamping the Champions League, and I don't know what they're going to be doing with it, but they're going to be changing it all around. But hey, like I said before, it's a competition. We're in it. I'm not, going to say that, we're too big to take part in that. At the end of the day, if we parade in that round the city centre, in a couple of months' time, there are plenty of clubs out there that would swap places with us.
Yeah,
definitely,
without doubt.
Yeah, but fingers crossed. Look, Josh, thank you so much for popping on. It's been a while. I'm sure the ladies are going to be very, very happy. Especially now they know how close you are to the washing machine. Former Acuity's door, ladies.
Make me blush, Chris. You make me blush.
But you're moving next week, aren't you?
Yeah, Friday. All being well, we get the keys. It's been as you know, through private conversations we've had, mate, it's been a long process and it's not been easy at all. But
No.
we're 4 or 5 days away.
You're still married and you've come through it, so that's a good thing.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't know how.
It's a good job she's not watching this,
But hopefully, like I say, all being well, Friday will be the day. So it's been a long time coming, but once we're in and settled, I can get back to. Cheers, Scott. Thanks a lot, mate. I can get back to concentrating on Leicester a lot more anyway once we're in and settled.
No, well, you've got. I hope you told her when you married that you will love, honour, and obey, but only second place. Leicester's top, of course. That's probably why I'm no longer married. Yes, there we go. Josh, seriously, thanks so much for coming in, filling in for Brad, who's away, and good luck with the move next Friday, mate. I hope it goes well for you.
My pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me, mate. Look after yourself, pal. I'll see you again soon, buddy.
And you as well, mate. All the best with the move. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Chris. Ta-ra, mate.
Cheers. Thanks. Oh, thanks to Josh for coming on. Great to have him back. I've missed that laugh. That's it. We go into the international break on a win, and that's always good to say. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to be having any shows next week. Oh no, you know me. We've got a lot of sloppy seconds next week. On Monday, we've got Besotted Brentford, who are very big, one of the biggest Brentford fan shows, coming on at 7 with an opposition view. I'm sure he's going to be having an opinion on the game. Brad is away having a holiday with the love of his life, so he should be having a good time. At 9 o'clock, a very quick show, I think, this week is the weekend review with Louise. And then on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to have the League 1 and 2 show with Mike, when we'll be taking a look at what's happening in the lower divisions, because we ignore them. But, I mean, they do keep some of the Premier League clubs going with the players. We've got players out on loan at some of those clubs. So Mike's joining us 7 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, Big Fat Football Quiz 2. Craig and Rich. No, it's not. It's not Craig. Craig is actually taking on, so it is Craig, and he's taking on, and that's a very good question as to who he's taking on. He's taking on a West Ham fan, so whose name just excludes me at the moment. And that's 9 o'clock. Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Foxes Across the Pond. We will be talking, he's coming back next week, Rene, coming back next week. 7 o'clock, Foxes Across the Pond, where we've not done it for a couple of months due to a family bereavement, but we will be welcoming them back. Foxes from America and Canada. Be great to have them back. 9 o'clock on Wednesday, it's the championship show. We know who we think will be going down, but who do we think will be coming up? We're going to be looking at that with Emilio and Ryan, a Fulham and Huddersfield fan. And then it looks like we've got a couple of days off because I've got some family birthdays coming up, and I think we're going to have a bit of a weekend's rest. But beginning of the week is very good. Hey, thanks very much for watching. Leicester LTIDtv, please give us a sub. Thanks for listening on your favourite podcast platform, including Amazon, Apple iTunes, Google, Spotify, Podcast Addict, to name just 5. I said I found a podcast today I'd never ever heard of, and I was on it. So we get about. Thanks for watching. Go get some beer in, get ready for the match of the day, and I'll see you next week. Take care now, all the best, and remember, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.